So, dear friends, it's time for questions, comments, and thoughts. I would like to start by answering a few questions that I received in the morning. We can have some clarification on those questions and a little detailed discussion. So, the first question is common to all parents, especially parents in the Indian setup. Now, the question is, should I desire? Because I have heard that the scriptures say that we should move towards desirelessness. Then should I desire, or is it good to desire that my child should academically excel and should prepare accordingly? So this is a question. Now, before giving an answer as yes or no, that this is right and this is wrong, let's analyze the situation. So let's analyze that this is a child is in class 8th or 9th, and the child is a hardworking child. He has some knowledge of music. He's learning a musical instrument. He or she is also participating in some sport. And then she is a person who can, achieve, let's say, 80% average marks with decent amount of work. Now, the parent, what happens is because the parent has seen the competitiveness of the world, so it is the parent's inclination that, oh, wouldn't it be better if my child would score, 85%. So what happens is the parent expects that the child, when he or she comes to class 9, 10, then should score better in the board exams and should go academically higher. Now, for that, what happens is the music is left behind, the sports is left behind, all other activities are left behind, and you are focusing on the academics. So let's say the child got 85% in class 10th, and now, of course, the formative years and the pre-college years are there, and the career direction has to be decided. So the parents think that wouldn't it be better that this child should at least get 90% in 12th, and therefore he should put in more and more and more effort and continue to do so. And suppose, let us say that the child does attain 90%. Now then the parent thinks that wouldn't it be better that, if the child gets into a premier institute in India or maybe into the Ivy League college, so then of course the parent pressurizes the child that, why don't you achieve this, do all of these things that you need to get into an Ivy League. And then let's assume that the child does get into the Ivy League. Now, after having come out from the Ivy League, then the parent thinks, oh, wouldn't it be better that if my child was, employed in a great company, in a top-notch world company, maybe Google or maybe Meta or maybe, working with SpaceX and so on. So then and interestingly, the child, that person who's grown up adult now, it gets into one of these companies. Then the parent thinks, oh, wouldn't it be better if my child gets an even higher salary package, at least a 7-figure? And of course, it should be, of course, not in INR, it should be, a dollar worth or pound worth money amount, 7 figures at least. And of course, he should get a bigger house. And of course, and the child is hardworking, so the child achieves such a thing. And then the parent thinks, oh, wouldn't it be better if my child gets married, and and you should have a successful marriage. And then once the child gets married, then the parent thinks that, oh, wouldn't it be better if my child begets children, and it would be so nice to have grandchildren. And once the grandchildren are also born, then the parent who's now a grandparent thinks that, oh, wouldn't it be better that the young child goes to a very nice school so that eventually he can go into the Ivy League college, so that eventually he can get a good job, and so that eventually the same cycle is repeated. Isn't this true for us? It is true for us. But what is the gist of it? Where is this taking us? There are many things that we need to ask ourselves, seeing this example, which is present everywhere around us. And the simple thing, now point number 1, the desires, even when they are fulfilled, they are not, you do not get final, a satisfaction, and it brings another desire. Immediately, as soon as one desire is satisfied, another desire will spring up. That is point number 1. Point number 2, if at any point, so I gave an example where the child did succeed at every level. Now, at any point here, if the child failed to succeed or come to the expectation of the parent, then how much frustration would come into the parent? And of course, that frustration will be projected on the child, because the child does not have the idea of how the world works, but the parent has, and the parent has all the anxieties and the worries thereof. And therefore, all those worries are then projected on the child. So the child's confidence is going to go down. Besides, we are remembering that the child has already left his music, studies, his sports. And so overall holistic health of the child has already been compensated. And in this whole rat race, what has majorly been not neglected is the moral, ethical, and spiritual growth of the child. We have forgotten to teach our children that how important it is to be able to love others unconditionally, how important it is to be compassionate to others, how important sharing is. These basic principles we have forgotten to tell our children because we are training our children to go and enter the rat race. Now, how wise is that? Now, what does this mean? So again, the question is, should I want my child to have good grades at school or attain academic excellence? Again, the answer is yes and no. So yes to what? Yes, you should be able to provide a supportive environment to your child wherein the child can excel. Yes, you should be able to encourage the child if you feel that the child is lacking in confidence or he has some minor difficulties or challenges in his student life. And yes, you should be nudging the child a little bit towards higher understanding. But do not over expect and over pressurize. Do not expect a 70%er who will maybe good at so many other things to become a 95%er. Do not expect the child to leave his wholesome growth and blossoming as a soul, but to become a person who is totally focused at then what? Earning money. Is earning money. Now, in this long class of Gita, we have just learned that we must distinguish between temporary and permanent. So the permanent joy of the soul, you should teach your child to access that. The other things are important, but only temporarily. Therefore, see the importance of any competitive exam or school or college or job only in its right proportion to the real treasure of gaining self-realization. So of course, as the Gita advises, we are not going to tell the child that, oh, this is a dream, don't work. No, we are going to allow the child to move in his academic direction, but we will support him more in a wholesome growth. And also we will remember this important verse of the Gita where Krishna says, work without egotism and expectation and surrender everything to me. So as a parent, I will do the best for my child, but number one, I will not expect a specific outcome from that. Number two, I will not think it is my child. Why? Because even I am God's child. All the children on earth are God's children. So if I am the mother of my child, then there is a divine mother over me. The child is being taken care of by Prakriti, which is divine mother. So I will leave egotism. And then after having done my best and after having watching that, yes, my child is putting in effort, I will surrender all activities unto the feet of God, who is responsible for all children, the destinies of all souls. He is responsible to give the karma phala, means the fruit of all action. And we have no idea about the karmic tendencies of the souls who are born as children in our house. So again, important thing here is to become the gardener rather than the owner of those souls. Those children are here in this lifetime as our children, and we as parents, we do not remember what roles we have played, whether we have interacted with them in past lifetimes, and what has been their karmic journey and what is their karmic destiny. Of course, everybody's destiny is to become one with God. But when that will happen with them is not our concern. It is not under our control. God is controlling everything. You play your little part and leave the rest. Only then can you and the child live happily. And it's not necessary that the rat race is best for everybody. So let the uniqueness or the individuality of the child, God has created each one of us, as separate, unique individuals. Let that expression be allowed to happen, and not just the rat race or the things, the peer pressure affect the child as well as you. So how can you change this? Is first calm your own emotions. If by meditation you are able to calm your own emotions, your expectations, your worries, anxieties, and fears, automatically this same peaceful vibration will be going into your own homes, and you will find that the same child, firstly, you will not pressurize the child because you have understood a higher truth. Secondly, the same child who was rebelling earlier, understanding the shift of energy, will also not rebel as much and will come in sync with what is higher for and good for everybody. So of course we have to love our children, but we have to remember again, God is the doer and God loves all of us, and everything will be taken care of if you are doing your little part and leaving the rest. The second important question that I received today is that if we have done something wrong towards somebody, then, and that feeling of guilt stays with me, then how do I manage my emotions? How do I feel less burdened with it? And this is a very natural human thing. So today the Gita has clarified this for us. The Gita class today, in that Krishna is saying to us that if you follow these precepts, if you follow the teachings that I am giving you, working without egotism, working without expectation, following the precepts given by me, and following the teachings of the Guru, following the techniques unceasingly, and if you are on this path with sincerity and devotion, that know that all your karma, good and bad, can be wiped out. And just as we give our good things to the Lord, when something good happens to us, we say, thank you, Lord. And if we are able to achieve, some successful enterprise, or we're able to attain success in any field, we share this joy with others and with God. If we can also share our failures with God, it would be so wonderful. God understands each one of us, and we will be so unburdened, and we can go in our future time with a sense of freedom. Now remember, Sri Yukteswarji has said this clearly in the autobiography. He says, the past lives of all men are filled with dark shames. Everything in your life will improve if you are making the right spiritual effort now. Forget the past, live fully in the present, and automatically the future will become beautiful for you. Another question, which is of importance, and I would like to discuss it. And that question is that if everything is karmically, designed, and if I'm not to desire anything, then should I not desire that, my aging parents or people suffering around me, they should get better? Should I pray or not pray? Or is this a desire or not? So one must understand that we are born in human bodies, we have human hearts, and there is no point in this creation if the feeling aspect or the love or the compassion aspect is not there in our life. So it has to be there. Of course, we are going to feel, if we are wise, matured, and sensitive people, we are going to feel the suffering of others, and it is very natural for us. Now, but the important thing here is egoity. Am I seeing things personally, everything? Why is this happening to my parent? Why it is not happening to others? Why do I have to suffer? No, everybody suffers. And that is why old age is one of the problems of this life. So if you are born, then the body will decay, there will be old age and there will be death. So there will be suffering at every level. Now the important point is impersonally loving others and inviting the presence of God. We can help in healing ourselves and others. We can act as channels of love and light in this world. And Yogananda ji has given a complete set of teachings with which we can do such things. But always remember what the Gita says, without egoity, without expectation. So don't say, I want my parent to be healed, or I expect that when I pray and meditate, my mother should be healed. That may not happen, because old age and death are going to come. These are inevitable. And that is why it is important to prevent rebirth. Because if there is rebirth, there will be re-old aging and re-decaying and re-death. So what is our role and what is the role of the parent? Also, just as we said that the children are souls and they have their own destiny, similarly, our the souls in our parents' bodies are also souls and have their own destiny. And the soul is wise in itself, and it knows God is directing each soul. And each person, even in the midst of suffering, if that person can connect with God in some way. So, of course, a person who hasn't learned how to meditate in his young age cannot meditate in old age. But even if he can take the name of the Lord, if he can pray with a devotional and receptive heart, then he will be able to make his connection with the changeless spirit, changeless God. And even when the body will be shed, that connection will go with him. And for us, we can pray for this soul. We can pray for our parents. We can offer them in the light of God. We can surrender them to the Lord. And automatically, everything will be taken care of. But important two words, without egoity and without expectation, we surrender everything unto the Lord. I hope this helps. Captain Joy, if there are any other questions, I would be happy to take them.
Om Guru to all. Dr. Radhika ji, we have three questions.
Okay.
Would you like to take all, or we take one odd question now?
I think let's take one more question, and then we'll please keep the other two for the next class. We will take them later. Okay. So just
Okay.
one more question.
Question for today is, so our job is to just show up on a meditation question every day and let God and Divine Mother do their work. Is this the way to get over any inertia that holds one back from regular Kriya?
That is correct. That is correct. So the main inertia is usually at the first step. The main inertia, so for example, simple example, physical level, a person goes to the doctor and the doctor prescribes regular exercise. And the person is not exercising at all. So the first level of inertia happens, the starting of a new practice is difficult. But the same person, if he or she has put in her willpower and has started to exercise, you ask this person after 3 to 4 weeks and they will say, yes, we are enjoying this activity and it is easier for us to now regularly exercise. So same for meditation. The initial inertia of, our subconscious mind is putting in thoughts from our past conditioning that, oh, isn't it better to go to the mall? Let's go and watch a movie. Let me hang out with friends. Let me just watch something on Netflix and so on. So if we can, by our willingness, kind of say no to all these things. And we can say, okay, come, I may not be able to meditate deeply, but let me try. And let me just sit in front of the altar, and start the techniques that have been taught to me. That is my job. If I can do this continuously, Master says you can develop a new habit in 21 days. If with sincere regularity and devotion, you can do this activity for 3 to 4 weeks, know that this will be established as a habit. And automatically, the practices will become deeper and deeper. Of course, in the first days, your effort will be to, just say, oh, today my knee is hurting, but today my back is hurting. But if you keep at it, it will start to get better and better and better. And this beautiful suggestion by Anandamayi Ma, which I really found helpful, she said that whatever activity you plan to do, whatever you put your mind upon, just increase that activity by 1 minute every day. So maybe you are able to meditate for 5 minutes the first day. So bring it to 6 minutes the next, the 7 minutes to next, and then increase by small increments. But just keep doing it. The subconscious mind will receive the signal that this person is not going to give in. So let me also cooperate. So firstly, yes, you have to put in extra energy, extra willingness. Keep doing it. God will definitely help. So Master has said this, that God will never let you down. And God sees your heart. God sees your effort. Not so much your failures. Are you trying your best is the only question that needs to be answered. If you are trying your best, then not only will you feel, so how do you receive God's reply? The satisfaction that you feel after having achieved something in meditation, or telling yourself, oh, I was able to sit for 30 minutes and meditate. That satisfaction is the joy of God, is his smile that you're receiving in your heart. And he is approving of us. He is watching us grow day by day. And of course, he is happy in our happiness. So I hope that helps. So I think with that answer, we will end today's class and we will take up the next few questions after the next class. And we will see each other on next Thursday. Jai Guru to all. May God be with us always. Om.